So you have to adapt your space.
We should hit the points. We can help each other and that person.
I had to find something that I was passionate to.
Wabi-sabi, Zen.
Beauty of imperfection.
I'm an Indian. That tradition is so much close to my heart.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Design Discussions with Nadine. I am Nadine, and I have two guests today, lovely interior designers. I have Payal, and she is the owner of Chic Interiors. And then I also have Catalina, and she is the owner of Meraki Kassa Design. So how are you ladies today?
Great.
Excited to talk all about your business and give some information about interior design, maybe give some tips to people on some things.
Yes.
And I'm gonna interview you guys while I have my new co-host that made her debut last time. she's gonna be our entertainment. Also, other than you guys, she's our entertainment for this episode. So you guys have quite a bit of an experience. You have more than 2 decades of experience in interior design, and for you, it's about 17 years, right? So, and you can choose who wants to talk first, but we can talk a little bit about how you got into interior design and what drove you into that career choice.
Go first.
Okay, I've been very passionate about, creating spaces that comes with, it gives you that creativity and functionality. And I just realized that, like somehow, while doing all that stuff, I just really came to know, like something is, I like that doing it, but I did not know the term. What is it, But then eventually I come to know. I took a degree on that and all that stuff. But that's how I started with that, and then I realized that creating spaces and it comes with the functionality. And that makes huge impact.
Just making things pretty for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And functionality, right?
Yeah.
That's more important for everybody. It's just not the look.
Right. For me too, being in construction, that's also very important, changing the functions of whatever room it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people might not think about that. And especially with interior design, they think, oh, you guys just make stuff pretty.
No.
But there's a lot more that goes into it
Exactly.
that a lot of people don't realize.
So true.
And then, Catalina, what about you?
Okay, I went to business school in my country and I work as a stockbroker assistant first. I always wanted to go into arts. I didn't know interior design at that point in my country. My father was a businessman, so he wanted me to go his route. And I went, I worked, and I came to the United States to learn English. And then I met my husband in Chicago. And I started, like, in Chicago, you have a lot of design, art, and everything. So I had to find something that I was passionate to learn English, because my husband speaks Spanish. So I was like, okay, what should I learn? And I started going through the interior design, and we moved several times. I have moved 16 times ever since I met him. So every time that I moved, I said I have to rearrange everything. So once we moved to Miami, I went to Art Institute there for interior design, and I love it. I was like, I love to transform spaces. This is my thing, and I forgot about like the business, like stockbroker or anything.
That was like out the window.
Yes, and then we moved to New York. I lived there, and I took little courses here and there, and then we settled for a while, for 15 years in Connecticut. So I started my first firm there, CY Interiors, and also work as a real estate agent. And I put the two together there, and sometimes I had the luck to sell the house and also have the interiors project. Then I moved to here, and at the beginning, I was just helping my kids to settle. It was such a shocking move, and they were old, like 15, 10, and 12. And then I started like, okay, I have to learn how everything works here. It's a different style. At that point, it was different. Now it's more like it blends. It's eclectic and fun. But at that point, it was very traditional still. And I was coming from New York and Connecticut, that it was like, oh my gosh, eclectic, fun, edgy, and so
it's quite different.
Quite
especially
different at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I worked with Madeval to open a showroom in the Woodlands for a while, and then I worked in Restoration Hardware, and after that I started the whole company, and
that's how you guys met, right? You worked together. And how long did you guys work there?
About a year.
Yeah, I was there for 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was I think for me, it was an amazing experience. You didn't have to go and look for the clients. The clients came to you, and there were people from everywhere. Like I had this Russian people that came from Russia, and I helped them design. Everything was from Restoration Hardware, even the sleepers. But I helped them design a chalet in Germany with the furniture. So it was an amazing experience, and learn and meet people from everywhere. We were very diverse. And that was a bless. I think it was an amazing experience.
So you learned a lot, and you got a lot of experience and exposure to different things that you may have not otherwise. Yeah. Now I want to talk a little bit about the thing that you mentioned about you had experience with e-design. So my question about that is, a lot of people hear about it, but they might not really know what that is.
Yeah.
And then what is the difference between e-design and traditional interior design? And what do you think are the benefits of either or?
Yeah. Like here we came like 2 decades back in US, right? I'm from India. So when I came here, I realized that I was working for one of the architects in India too. So, and a couple of people I've been working over there. And so when I moved here, I was still working for them. So that's how I realized like, oh wow, I can do that too. So e-design is more about you are designing everything, but just showing them on Zoom calls or talking over the phone and showing them those 3D walkthroughs. Everything is just online, right? But with that, you can always give them material list or some links and the local market and all that stuff. So, it's very, very helpful for them to, it's different between like, in person there and seeing that in person and giving all the solutions over there. But e-design is more about, if you go deeper, you can definitely go with the construction level too. But up till now, I have done all those decor and those projects where little bit of construction involved. But otherwise, it's more about showing them the 3D ways, and everything is similar. It's just you are not there in person. But that's how I started that. And right now, I'm not doing a lot of those e-designs, but the beauty is like you don't get restricted, right? Like from another country, you can hire somebody or you can work over there too.
Yeah, so I think it's a good thing, especially however if somebody is gets referred to you or finds you online, you're not restricted to just the people in your own city or state. Exactly. So I think it's definitely a benefit to have that. I think it's been a lot more lately. Yeah. Especially I think since
with
COVID.
Zoom.
Because of Zoom. Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah,
and you can create that rapport that you need when you are doing an interior, when you're doing residential.
Yeah.
Commercial, it's more straightforward, but in residential, feelings are involved, emotions are involved. So you have to create connections, otherwise the project won't be successful.
Yeah. And you can also fly down and just for couple of meetings, it's just to understand more things.
See the space in person. All of
and that's 1 or 2 times going is always fun too.
Let's talk about your design style. So I think there's a modern twist kind of to what you do. I know everybody mentioned Wabi Sabi. I have a video about that because that's one of my favorites too. So why do you love that so much?
Because I love the beauty of imperfection. And as we were talking before we started filming, life is not perfect, and space is not perfect, and we are not perfect. But sometimes in that imperfection, it's what creates the most beautiful design. And you know it's there, the owner knows that it's there, but nobody else knows. And there's a history in everything. There's a story to tell. I love wabi-sabi. I love like calm spaces, but I also like the pop of color and the pop of fun, like make it funky. I love working with patterns, so I think I am creating my whole style because it's not everything. It's not the calm. I always add color in some way, and I love to add like an antique piece, like something, and the same like arts and crafts from the country that people are from or they feel passionate for. It's important to add that to make that space theirs.
Personalize it of something that they treasure or an experience that they've had or places they've been.
It's your sanctuary. So if it's just your sanctuary, you want it to be yours. So you have to reflect their personality. So that's why sometimes when people ask me, "What's your style?" Yes, this is my style, and I think people ask me for like the color and combination of fabrics. And textures.
And I think sometimes too, that when it comes to people coming to an interior designer, a lot of people or some people might not know what their style is. So they need to try to have the interior designer help them to pull that. They may see something online that they like, but they're not sure what is that style, or they might like different things from different styles.
You have to help them
you guys
out.
have to help them kind of pull it together, right? Which is hard to do, I think.
That's very common.
It is.
They come from different places.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it comes something different perspective or something. They just like something else, and they just send you like, oh, now I like this.
Yeah.
But you have to ask there.
But
what do you like about the picture? Because sometimes I see the wall, I see the whole setting, and I love the setting, but what it really makes me feel like, it's a feeling. At the end, interior design is a feeling, like the emotion that you want to have in a space. So it's important to ask that.
She's trying
I know.
She's like, she wants it, but then she throws it on the floor. So she's not sure. See, she just
I want it, but
she's like, I
thinking
like it.
Okay, where should I go? And do I want to be here, or should I go over to my place?
Yeah. All right. Now, Payal, let's talk a little bit about your style and what you bring to your clients.
Yeah. See, again, as a designer, I don't want to restrict myself, but definitely I lean towards wabi-sabi, Zen kind of a style, which is timeless. But again, and I'm an Indian, right? So I have a lot of that tradition. It's so much close to my heart. A lot of patterns, handicrafts, and colors, textiles. So a lot of things involve that, and I look forward to have that kind of opportunity in Houston or everywhere. Like if I get that project, I would love to do that too. But yeah, I like those more timeless designs because many times people just follow the trends. There was a phase like grays, and there was a phase now it's more warm. Well, warm, and even like little bit of, they like the rawness right now. So every time there's a decade or some era where that trend goes, and which is fine. Sometimes people just change their interiors in every 5 years or 10 years. But there are few things which has to be like timeless. I just feel that. So I think that's my style. Also, I feel like I am listening to my client because everybody has their own taste, right? And then you have to push that taste, and you have to bring your own because they are there for your expertise. So definitely you have to give them their own.
You should. Payal in her firm and me in Meraki Kassa, we look at the big picture and then put together what they like.
Correct, yeah.
And then the big, I believe, and I think we share the same thought, that the architectural, the big pieces need to be timeless. And then you add like things that you can change. That's their personality. You layer the design. So they get bored of the color. They can change the pillars, they can change the accents. But the big things, the big investments should be timeless. I think. Well, I think we agree on that.
Absolutely, I agree.
You mentioned white and gray, and I'm like, that went on for quite a while. And I think a lot of, I had that come to me like for years. That was all I was hearing, what people wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's still going on.
There are still some that, and I was like, listen, it's the warm is coming, and you're gonna get tired really fast. But
that's
it's their house.
You're right. It's bringing them what they want, right? Not trying to, you just try, like I mentioned, just pulling from them what they might want with a little bit of, help putting things together. Because that's not an easy thing to do either for you guys as interior designers, to put together tiles and textiles, draperies and all the things to make it look pretty and cohesive. So that's a tough.
It's fun, but it's really fun.
Yeah, it is, and it's rewarding.
But it's challenging at points.
It is rewarding, and so you are a psychologist too.
Oh yeah,
sure.
I'm a marriage therapist.
All the time.
That's the personal connections that you talked about
exactly.
too.
Yes.
And then sometimes it gets a little bit too personal,
and many
right?
times, and many times at the end of the your project, you become friends. Like not all the time, but there is no any kind of a boundary or like for me also at least. I don't know about others, but it just become. That line just fades away because you are so personally going there every day, understanding their lifestyle, understanding their nature, how they function, all that stuff. You understand them so well that towards the end, it just
you are the best friend. Yes, and they call you for everything and anything. And it's good, but at some point, once the project, I have become friends with most of my clients. But you also have to learn that you're the designer sometimes, and when the project ends, it's like back and it's your house. I am not like involved anymore.
That's probably a good tip to give to fresh interior designers, right?
Yes.
Because that might be something that they might keep on going with giving the advice and all that stuff because they're trying to form those relationships with those clients because they're new. But I think that's something that's learned along the way.
And also don't feel offended if after the project it's over, it becomes like it was my client and you become the designer and you are not invited to every party anymore. It's okay.
Just during the design parts, right?
It happens. It happens and you have to learn not to feel like, oh, my heart is broken or they don't know. Because I have heard that. And at the beginning it happened to me. I am just saying because it happened to me and it's normal and it's fine.
It happened to me when actually it's still like sometimes like the project is ending and you are going back definitely for a few times like or you become a good friend, you always go there, but that procedure like it's ending, it's little
sad.
bit it's like sad. Oh no, it's finished now.
when you have a good relationship.
That's true, definitely.
And it has been a good project.
Absolutely.
Otherwise
like, sometimes you're sad, sometimes happy.
It's like, oh my God,
finished.
Done. Check.
Finished. Check.
That's funny. So speaking of projects, let's talk a little bit about the personal project that you have working on. You mentioned about being empty nester. So I want to get your advice and give some advice to the viewers about finding balance in the home once being an empty nester, because that's a big change for people.
It's a big change. And for most women, it happens at the same time that you're going through menopause. Wonderful stage in life. So per my experience, and that's why it's so personal. It's shocking. It's really hard after having like a loud house with 3 kids and all of a sudden it's empty and you're going through these hot flashes and everything.
A very emotional time,
yes.
right?
And a time that you start wondering, what do I really want to
What's
do?
going on?
What's my purpose? And I have done a lot of research in regards to menopause, and all of it, any woman, it's gonna go through that. So it's important to create spaces that are yours. It's not about your kids. Your kids are gonna come and they are gonna have the rooms. It's not like you are gonna take over everything. Yeah. But you have to make your house functional to you and beauty to you, not anymore the playroom where they are gonna hang out. And if they come, they are gonna feel good or bad. No, it's something that it's you. It's your house, your husband. What are your new interests? Do you want to do pottery? Do you want to create a space for pottery or yoga? So you have to adapt your space, because having those old rooms, collecting dust, when you open, you remember many memories, it's not good for you. You need to be, this second half of our lives needs to be fun, and it's all about us. It doesn't mean that you are gonna be so selfish, but in a way you should. If you're happy, everyone else is gonna be happy. So yes, we are trying to collaborate to create this like creation. We don't know. Yeah. We are working on it. But to focus on women that are looking for purpose, that want to recreate their house in a way that still hosts your kids, but it's really makes you feel happy and fulfilled.
And they need help, like, we've been talking with many people also, because we are at that age, like, everybody's going in that phase. And then we realized, like, first we started with ourselves, and then we realized, like, everybody is going through like that phase, and they need help of, like, how can we declutter, or how can we refunction that same room with other way, like, and then I think we are there to help them out. And there are other people, like not only just people, the women or men, but just not with the menopause or the emptiness thing. It's all about, like, some people are going through with the other phases, divorce, and
yeah.
So there are so many things, and
big changes.
Exactly, and I think that's where we're gonna be there to definitely. We are a good listener,
yeah.
so there is a therapy, but the main focus is on design and how can we comfort them with their own, like, as I said, like, we are there to help them for understanding their functionality, how their creativity, their like how they want to have that space, right? So we will be there to help them out.
And the psychological part, as an interior designer, after working with so many clients, you learn how to read between the lines. And also, because of what we do, we all constantly are researching, like, okay, how can we make this space more functional, better, and trends and everything.
Yeah.
And for example, nowadays with sustainability, it's key, because after some research, some VOC can affect your hormones, for example, during menopause. And it can affect the kids, so you have to bring that, because our spaces not just need to look beautiful and be functional, but they have to be safe and healthy. So yes, that's a big point in our firms right now, to make it really healthy for clients, because here in Houston you spend a lot of time inside. Not right now, but during the summer.
Most of the time, absolutely. So you're going to do a collaboration together. So how is that going to work? And when are you going to start that? Have you started the process on that? Give a little bit more detail on that.
Yeah, we are meeting a lot of times now, and we are trying to see how we are getting those points together first, so that whenever we'll meet those people and whoever come to us, we should hit the points, like exactly what they want and how we can function. And because there might be some terrible history behind them, or sometimes they are just ready, so those points where we have to get together, where we can see like how we can proceed with that. And then and because we are in same market, we know exactly from vendors and everything, which can be little comfort for them to bring them that side. And because maybe they are alone sometimes, right? And then we are together, we can help each other and that person. So I think that's the procedure right now we are going through.
So you're fine-tuning things right
Tuning
now.
things, right? It's brushing out.
And like anyone, any teamwork, she has her fortes and flows, and I have my fortes and flows.
Yeah.
So it's about trying to find and balance the two of us together to make it better. I believe in teams greatly, even though I've been working by myself for so long. But it's, I think, in order to create something powerful, you need that team behind it. It's like, let's say, bed sauce. And Amazon is not just bed sauce. It's like a big team behind it. So in order to have that, you need to join forces with people. So
two brains are better than one.
Exactly.
4 is better than 2, right?
And you see one space from 2 different points. You can give a space to 1,000 designers, and you are going to have 1,000 different things. So I think that's great. It's like we should work more as teams than as we work as individuals, and we will get farther.
Yeah, I agree.
And we've been knowing each other more than a decade now.
Yeah, well, a lot.
Yeah.
we call, what happened, or text, and they said, this is happening to me.
Yeah.
What
And
do you
that's
think?
actually, that's how we started with this idea. Like, even though we have this common area where we work together, but whenever I get stuck, I call her. Whenever she gets stuck, we do that often.
That's good, having the support
there is
system,
always
like somebody that's
I
also
know,
in it.
and I know like she's there. If I get stuck, I literally sometimes FaceTime her. Like, what do you think about this? Because you just want. I mean, after so many years of experience, but sometimes you just feel like let's have another
set of eyes.
Yeah.
An outside perspective sometimes. Because again, one of you mentioned, you don't know everything, right? Not perfect.
You are evolving all the time.
So having an outside perspective of another set of eyes is helpful, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's important because sometimes you walk through a house and you are putting the blue tape.
And you don't see.
And sometimes you don't see the most obvious thing that the client sees. And it's like, oh my God, it has been there all this time and I didn't see it. But you walk there all the time and it happens. Having somebody else, it's a new.
Absolutely.
I think it's really important.
Yeah.
So then, in closing, I always ask my horror or funny story to my guests. So what do you have to share about that?
So many. But okay, in New York, when I was working in New York, and the spaces for the apartments to bring things up. I went and we had this beautiful sofa from a modern French firm there, and we measured at the beginning. There's a funny horror there.
She was scared about
she's
scared about what you're going to say.
She was like, oh my God, this is not good.
I'm not going to be there.
So I went the day of the move. This client was pregnant, and she was about to give birth, and we want the sofa before she gave birth into the apartment. And they were gonna deliver, and I remember it was Labor Day weekend. And I said, okay, I'm going. I find them to deliver today because I was chasing them for like a month to deliver. Of course, it was coming from France, but they finally got to deliver, and she said, don't worry, I will receive the sofa. Please don't come. And I was like, okay, fine. So thing happened, of course. The sofa didn't go through a curve to get into the elevator, and she called me so frustrated, and I was like, oh my gosh, this lady's gonna give birth right now here.
Oh my God.
But of course, it was Friday, Labor Day weekend, 4 o'clock.
Oh.
I was like, what should I do? And I called my upholsterer, who didn't make the sofa, but he knew. Catalina, called Dr. Sofa. What's that? Call Dr. Sofa. I called Dr. Sofa, and they said, we cannot go now, we can go on Monday. And I said, okay, let's go on Monday. And I called her, listen, they can do it on Monday. Okay, but this is unacceptable. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know we measured, but sometimes, okay. She went to labor that weekend.
Oh my God.
What timing?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And on Monday, I was there with Dr. Sofa, and what they do is they bring the sofa and they unassemble the sofa on a sidewalk.
Oh.
So I was on the sidewalk with the sofa, Upper East Side, and they unassemble and they kind of folded where the seams are, the seams of the wood, the seams. And we brought it up, reassembled the sofa, put everything together, and it looked nice. But it was like a nightmare. For a weekend, I was like
Crazy.
Yeah.
killing myself because I was like, oh my gosh, and she went to labor. That's great.
Yeah.
But at the end, every nightmare turns into a good story to tell, but at the beginning, when you are living through it, it's not nice.
I don't know.
Now yours.
There are so many right now.
Payal says that she has too many to talk about. She can't choose, so we'll save yours for episode number 2.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
I hope
It was
everybody
fun.
enjoyed this episode. Until then, stay tuned for the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Bye. Thank you
Bye.
for having us.